Okay, I'm showing the wrong screen. Definitely not that one. Here we go. So, I thought what I would do is, um, basically, I've been working on a robust architecture series. So, basically, building more scalable Quasar applications. And so, part of that is just building the architecture first so that I can then sort of trace the steps that I did to get there and then share it with all of you in a series. This is going to be a massive series. Um, and I've run into a couple of snags along the way, which is expected, but now I just want to kind of, I guess, sort of pressure test it a little bit with something that's in the real world. So I'm going to build a GTD app, a Getting Things Done app. And I've already found something that I've run into a problem with. And let's just open this up so we can sort of dive into the code and get started. And that had to do with routing. So yeah, what I wanted to do is have automatic routing because I think that, at least in my experience, automatic routing makes it far easier to understand where your code lies, and it makes it far easier to help communicate your code to other people on your team without talking to them, because it's very obvious what the file structure looks like. Nuxt has actually had a lot of success with this and has got a lot of positive feedback on uh, auto routing, which basically means, by the way, that the folder structure that you have determines what your routes are. So you don't have to create a routes file yourself. It's all automatically generated for you. But two of the problems that I've run into is, well, first of all, I need to add these underscores in here like this in order to denote a partial. How do I do this? Like this. Ah, what's it doing? Oh my goodness, I've accidentally gone into Zen mode or something. Oh man, I do not know what is going on. All right, I did something there. But anyway, so what you have to do is basically put two underscores at the start and two underscores at the end in your routes to basically say, hey, ignore this. But I find that a little bit, it's not really what I want. I think what I'd rather do is have a pages directory that ignores everything unless it's got the word page at the end. So that's probably what I'm going to try and get working. Maybe not in this video, because I think I'm going to have to make a couple of changes to my package in order to get that going. But yeah, I think this will do for now. It just means that either I use these underscores and end up with messy code, or for now I might actually just leave it as if and let it automatically generate those routes. All right, I'm talking too much. Let's jump into front end, run dev there, and then let's cd into our back end. I think I just called it back, and then run yarn dev there and just check that everything's working so far. Give that a second. So the back end's now up, and the front end will be up in a second as well. We can throw that on the side here. Oh, this is something I'm working on. Eventually, I want to have a generator that helps you put your code in the right place. This is really, really helpful, especially when you've got larger teams. And one of the great things is, once you set this up and it becomes solid, you can then create like a UI library. So create like a Quasar Electron app that basically allows you to automatically generate models and files for you. It's really, really cool. But anyway, I digress again. So let's jump in here. This is the app that I'm working on, and I believe I called it slash capture, because that was the first step. Yeah, capture. Okay, looks like everything's working there. So the next thing I think I want to do is just pull in my data. Now I need to remember how all of this works. And I believe it's pretty simple. I think I just need to say use resource is what we're currently calling it. Okay, so we need a use index resource. And I'm not sure that I've built that yet, which is good because now we can go ahead and build that. And that would be under, I think I put it one level up. Somewhere in here, shared API resource. Yeah, I'd probably sit that inside of here. So we'll create another one here called use index resource.js. Let's have a look at one of these other ones and maybe just copy paste some code from there. And then we can start looking at how we'll build this. And I think I already had one for indexing a resource. Index Index resource. Yeah, use index goals. There we go. That's going to be our example. So let's full screen this. And this is what I had, which was working. So this now needs to be automatically generated, which is why we're pulling the schema in here. So in this query object, we're not going to need mutation anymore. So I need to figure out exactly what it's going to look like. Maybe we can just say query here, change that to the word query, and all right, I think I'm going to have to see what this will look like in GraphQL. So let's jump into our server. There it is there. And then we can say slash GraphQL. All right, that's an example of a mutation. Let's just copy that, paste it in here. And I think we can just say query, let's call this query goals, like that. And I think I literally just say goals in there. Nope. How about query? All right, so we might just have a look at the docs here. I'm still getting the hang of GraphQL, so this is going to take me a little bit. But the way we're building in this is in such a way that you could easily swap out GraphQL for something else. So that's kind of the goal here, to be able to say, all right, I'm using GraphQL, but I'm going to swap that out and use Supabase, or I'm going to swap that out and use Laravel REST API, basically whatever you want. That's the ultimate goal here, to make it so that it's not bound to any backend. Okay, so for querying, I think you literally just put it directly in like this. But then how do you do more advanced queries? Oh, all right, hang on. Let's just do this properly. GraphQL, and then let's look up queries for that. These streams aren't supposed to be interesting. They're supposed to be honest. All right, so you just say query like that. But is there a deeper way of doing this? Okay, so you'd say query the name of it, and then the thing itself, like this, I think. God, I just want to index them. Oh no, that's asking for a specific episode, so we're looking for... Okay, let's try doing it the normal way for now. So we'll say query, or I think you literally just give it an object, and you say like goals. Oh man, I cannot for the life of me figure this out. It's a bit embarrassing. It's all right. It's not embarrassing. I mean, I haven't been playing with GraphQL, so what can I expect from myself? Goal, so that gives me nothing. Okay, maybe it's because we don't actually have goals in our API anymore. No, we don't. I remember now. Okay, now everything starts to make sense. Because with this new app that I'm building, we're calling it task. So, okay, so let's bring this back again. And we can say here query. We'll say index tasks. Let's get rid of all of that. We'll say tasks like this. Or can we say like get tasks? No, I think you just straight out say tasks. Then can you put okay, then you can add parentheses. Cool. This is what I wanted. I wanted to just know that I can access all of this extra functionality if I need it. All right, so now we can say tasks and then grab, for example, the data, and we can grab the ID in there as well. And what's it got? It's got like a title or something. Or just, is that what we call it? Or task? I don't know. This might actually show us in here. Task, which is a type of task, which has, oh, that's right. They've got attributes, not data. Oh no, it's got data, and then nested in data, there's attributes. My goodness. And I'm not sure we actually have ID here. ID must be, yeah, ID is nested in data. I'll get the hang of this eventually. Okay, so then within the attributes, we've got name, So okay, just name. That's really simple for now. There we go. Is that working? Maybe it's not. Have I just written this wrong? Yeah, right, maybe we can't add that query at the start there. We just have to straight out query it. Nope. All right. We'll keep trying. So you say query, and then you just send it through the stuff. Oh, okay. So we might not be able to name it. Let's try this. Oh, okay. We're getting forbidden access because I haven't actually given it a token. So let's just create an everything token. Actually, the best way to do this would be to jump in here. Say /admin. Okay. Gosh, I do not remember this. Oh, wow. Got it right the first time. That was really lucky. So now content manager. No. We want to basically generate an API token so I can play around with this. GraphQL. Full access. Save that. And I'm pretty sure I could just now use that as a bearer token. Headers. Here we go. Authorization. And it looks like this needs to be JSON. And that is a bearer token. So let's come back here and say bearer. Oh man, still getting forbidden access. Actually, another thing I could do is just grab the token from here. Yeah, I'll have it here in local storage for that user. So let's just grab that and use that as the bearer token. If that doesn't work, then we'll try something else. The other thing is I might not have given anybody access to this. We might actually just give it full-on access. They don't have to worry about this stuff anymore, at least for while we're testing it. So let's go to roles. If you're authenticated, then for a task, yeah, there we go. Rookie mistake. So now I can do whatever I want with that. I don't need any of this authentication stuff anymore. And that should work. So I just gave full access to it. All right, so that should be working now. Okay, that's seeing if you're... Oh, I should have added it to public, of course. But you know what? Let's not do public. Let's actually say authenticated and come back in with this header. Just to see if I can get this working. Is it with a Z or an S? Pretty sure it's with a Z. Authorization. Bearer token. You give it the token. I don't know what it's got wrong with this. All right, stuff it. I don't want to play around with this forever. So let's just go to public. Cross our fingers that this will actually work. Save it. Come in here. Run it again. Okay, and we're still getting forbidden. All right, but that is working. It's like that button's not doing anything. Feels like it's not doing anything. Let's try this. It's not. Okay, so it must have something wrong with my syntax. And it might be because you can't actually put parentheses in there when you're doing a query without any data in there. I don't know. Okay, anyway, gosh, this took way too long, but that seems to be working now. So now I can take this query and we can give it a go and see if it works. Let's close that out, create a bit of space in here. And I might, rather than using this as a reference, rather than using this as a reference, I might just use this use index resource. So I've just pasted the mutated one on the mutator one on here, and we'll replace it. So use index resource, and let's go down the line here. Form service won't be required because we don't actually need a form when we're indexing. Field entries, that might be needed, so we can say what fields we actually want to return here. And by default, we're just going to return all of them. Created resource, no, but we will want indexed resources. So let's copy that and then paste that in here. So when it's done indexing, it's going to be assigned there. And that's basically going to normalize our data because it comes back pretty deeply nested. And this just makes it easier to access our resources. Maybe we can change that from index resources to just resources. Yeah, I don't see why not. Yeah, okay, I think that's good. Get variables. So we won't need to use a get variables because we're not passing any variables through. We might need similar functionality to this though. I'll cross that out for now, but we might need to bring that back so that we can spit out our attributes here, but I think that'll be fine. So the query object, we got query, there it is there, and then it should say index tasks, or maybe we change that to query tasks. I think that should still work. You can call it whatever you want. Yeah, so query, and then that will be then tasks. Then there's all the variables we need to send through. For now, we're not doing any variable related stuff. We're just indexing the tasks. Later on when we do filtering, we'll probably end up using variables. Then we've got the mutation part of the object, which will no longer exist. So query object dot query. So I think I'm safe to. I think essentially what we want to do in here is say, grab this out of here and put it in there. So for the query aspect, I want you to give me the data back with the ID and the attributes. Okay. Now for each of the field entries, we want to say query object, not mutation, but dot query, and then okay, but we're not using the name anymore. Or are we using a name? Oh, Google just said something to me. Hang on, let me just think of what this looks like now. So we've got query object, which has got the name of it. That's this part here. Okay, then straight out, it's going to say task. So, oh man, this is doing my head in. So I think we actually need to remove this part here. Let's move it down there. And insert it here, meaning that we have to say at some point query object and then tasks, which in this case is going to be schema dot entity. And I can't wait to bring in TypeScript so I get some auto-completion there. And let me just quickly check one of the schemas. Goal schema. Okay, I've got a Pascal name, but I don't have an entity. No, all right, that's unusual to me. Why would I not have? Yeah, that's saying schema.entity. So maybe that's like an old file or something. All right, well, let's just add it in here. And we'll call this, well, we don't have goals anymore, so I'm going to call this tasks. And now I'm going to have to fix up a lot of this. So Control D, make sure that's only capitals. Task. And the field is just going to be the name of the task, I believe. Yeah, it just sends back the name. We don't need a description. And component type, that is going to be short text. Yes, it is a string, and the label I will set to task. So now let's rename that to task schema. And now we're going to have to do a little bit of work inside of here. Let's say reveal to see where that's sitting. I can delete all the components for now. A lot of these, I think I'll actually reuse them. Create task. And this is one of those things that I would use a generator for. Index tasks. And this will be remove task. The update one as well. So now I'll have to come in here and change it here as well, unfortunately. Oh man, this is going to be all over the place. But it beats doing the whole thing from scratch. Task. This one here. We're probably going to get some console errors once this is all done. And I know this isn't I know this is probably boring stuff, but I just wanted to chronicle what I've been doing here. And then task all over the place there is gonna be task. We got rid of all of the components. I might keep that comment so I know where I'm gonna put them. And we'll keep the task schema, and then we've got all the composables in there. Cool. Oh, I can put that back in when I'm ready. It's better to delete comments if they're not being used, I think. Okay, so let's look for anything goal related inside of here, just in case I missed anything, which I did. But that's for the indexing, so that's going to be removed anyway. Let's try capital G. Yeah, okay, it's only that index one. Oh, girlfriend's here. Hello. Do you have a meeting soon? All right, guys, I'm going to have to sign off because my girlfriend has a meeting and that's going to clash in terms of noise. All right, I'll talk to you all later. Close that.